the True Conjure podcast. I'm Alicia and my co-host Darren Rivers. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Girl, I'm chilling. You know how I'm feeling now. You know what I do.
Oh, all right. Well, we love the chill zone. We're fans. We're fans. So yes, on this episode of True Conjure podcast tonight, we're gonna be talking about the structure, the extraness when it comes down to the ATRs, when it comes down to traditions, when it comes down to certain practices. We're going to be talking about guidelines and, egos.
Mm.
Yes, the ego trips of the spiritualists. That is what tonight's episode is about. Yes, and how you don't take those things personally. You don't allow those things to deter you from off the spiritual path that you are working on, okay? So, how do we feel about that today, sir?
Look, I agree. Definitely don't let it take you off your path, the people that you encounter. That's for sure.
Oh.
Especially when you run into them people who don't know what they talking about. Oh my goodness, man. I harp on that. I'm telling you, like, I can't stand running into misrepresentation of things,
Mm.
because it can throw people off.
Or the know-it-alls.
The know-it-alls, yes. Those two. Like, for real. Whether it's one or the other, I can't stand either one. I used to be the know-it-all, and I've learned that you don't have to know everything. And sometimes it's good to just stay quiet in general.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
But you got to
Well,
watch who you
coming
learn
into
from.
these paths, watch
Go
who
ahead.
you learn from, and also just coming into these paths. It's great to be enamored by other practitioners and have a lot of admiration for uh, the people who actually put in a lot of work and a lot of effort and they possess a lot of knowledge. But the problem along with that is this: you have to be a master student in any of these practices or traditions that you are learning. Far as a master student to the point where you have to apply all these little lessons that you're learning, all the things that you acquire, even when it comes down to other practitioners and people who work in the same practice or tradition that you work in. It's really bad in my community, the EFI community.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is a pissing contest. Every lineage goes against another lineage about what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong. And the thing is, if they knew your lineage and they knew how you went about doing things, what it kind of puts other lineages in positions where they like to diminish their lineage, all
What?
because of hearsay of somebody else who practices a completely different lineage than you. So I know a lot of that is a lot of confusion or confusing terminology. So let's break it down, shall we?
Thank you.
So when you practice Ifa, when you practice Budan, when you practice Isheshe or Lukumi,
Mm-hmm.
a lineage is a line of where the knowledge that you are learning, where it comes from.
Okay.
That goes from the person who is teaching you that, if it's a Babalao or Iya Nifa or Iya, um, that goes back to who taught them. And lineage is basically, we can look at it like ancestry in some sense. You got it from the person who taught you, the person that it goes all the way back into a destination. Um, a lot of people have pissing contests over where the origin of the knowledge that they have learned comes from, especially in my community.
Mm-hmm.
They love to say it's not real or it's not true practices of this tradition or Isheshe, if you are not working out of a temple that originates in Nigeria. That is a big thing when it comes down to EFI and EFI practitioners. Another big thing is the initiation process. How you got initiated, the rules surrounding your initiation. if you didn't get initiated in this way or that way, based off of that person who is, spewing all of the things,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, then it's a problem. You're not official. You're not this. You're not that in their eyes. All because your practice is slightly different from theirs. So yes, lineage is a line of where your practices of Ifa or uh Halo, Myambe, or Kondo, all of those things originate from. Where your knowledge originates from. Your practices, how you venerate, how you honor, how you offer, all of those things originates from.
Hmm. So
Hmm.
why is there such a division in that area?
Well, because everybody feels like their lineage is more truer and more pure than the next. Right. So recently, we'll just use what happened to me. No, I won't use it recently because it's been so many times that this has happened, but it just happened on a larger scale for me recently.
Yeah.
And it just so happens to come from someone that I have a lot of admiration from and a lot of respect. And I still have a lot of respect from this person or for this person. It just makes me look at them completely different now.
Mm.
It shows me of what how much of this tradition is solely based off ego and solely based off of my tradition or my lineage is more pure or more um original than yours. It really showed me a lot. And it really showed me a lot how we have a big issue with this in the community. And instead of these people running up behind the scam artists and the people who are scamming all of these black folks and black and brown people out of their money, they choose to run behind the people who have genuine um, effort, genuine actions, genuine interest in what they're doing.
Mm.
Right. So basically, I was a part of this group, and this is the problem with the Facebook groups and the IG groups. The thing is, people get so caught up in titles and Ifa. Everything has to have a title. If you're not this, then you don't know that. If you're not this, then you're not respected in that manner. Going back to episode 2, when we were just talking about
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
titles,
Right.
beginner, um, medium, and then kind of like expert, like those kind of things.
Right.
Um, they'll look at your title and be like, "Oh, you don't know because you're Aberratia, and you can't do this because you're Aberratia. You don't have the right to do those things." You can get different shrines and stuff of that nature. So when people start trying to check for your lineage, they'll ask you, "So what's your lineage? What's your line that you're under?" Well, as an Aberratia, you don't necessarily possess a lineage because you don't necessarily belong to an Elay. A Elay is a home or a house.
Okay.
A house is a Ifa family. So that comes with the Babalao, who would be your godparent, a Petty B, who will be the ritualist, the one who helps the Babalao do all the rituals and all the things. So they will try to come for you and discredit the fact that you are an Aberratia, but you don't have a godparent and you don't possess lineage. And yeah, so in some sense, it's this hierarchy because you have a godparent and you possess lineage. So you don't know anything. And you haven't worked with the Orisha in this manner to know anything because you don't possess those things named above. Correct. So they'll try to question your devotion and question your practices and question your techniques. And it puts this impression on you where it's like, well, damn, should I be practicing this? If I got to go through all this in order to work in this practice, like this tradition? Then you have other traditions like Lukumi. Lukumi is the Latin-based version of Ifa. It's a lot of Latin-based techniques. It's a lot of added things that they don't necessarily do in Isheshe. But technically, the structure is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different face doing a different type of working or giving in a different kind of way or venerating. Venerating is honoring, devotion, all of those things. They're venerating in a different kind of way. So it's now they're better because they give more, they do more. They're way more repetitive in how they devote to the Orisha and their ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of is like a pissing contest all the way around. And it's a lot. So when you come into this practice, and it's a beautiful tradition, I do not discourage anybody from trying to truly explore it, but don't let it put this type of pressure on you where you question the things that you have that brought you here.
So my question then is this: where is the value in the tradition to have to go through that?
The growth that it gives, the things that it do for you, and not worrying about what the outside assumes that it does for you, or what the outside projects that it should do for you, or what you should do for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, what I'm saying, like, to go through that foolishness, right? Dealing with people.
That's just one a minute.
Yeah. I got you.
One a minute.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, give me an example of what you mean when you say what it does for you. Because my question would be like, well, shoot, can I explore this same thing outside of EFA in regular life and still get that same benefit? Like, give me some examples of what you mean, like the benefit of what it does for you, if you don't mind.
Well, the first part of that is I'll say this: EFI ain't for everybody. To each his own. But what it did, what EFI created for me was structure.
Mm-hmm.
It put a structure in my life for me to be able to understand things better, understand myself better. Um, it gave me resources to be able to work with my highest self in ways I have never done before. It
Mm-hmm.
has opened up a different consciousness within myself due to lineage and where I come from and the people that do for me based off of who I am. It showed me a different way and different gifts that I have inherited from my blood and my bone. It just gives you a bigger respect for yourself. It also adds value to yourself because it makes you appreciate a lot of things that your people have been through in order for you to be here to thrive today.
Okay.
It has just amplified me consciously to be able to look at the world and circumstances and um how what I feel as if I deserve for myself. So it just elevated me and put me in a different zone than I've ever been in any other type of practice or tradition in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. You won't get no arguments out of me. I was just curious.
Yeah, and especially when it comes down to the Orisha too, because a lot of people come into Ifa so Orisha focused. And it's like, yeah, no, yeah, they are great. Yes, they definitely are part of, the ATRs but it's not the Orisha that gets the main focus in Ifa. It's your higher self, is you. And then you get your ancestors. So if you're not willing to work with your ancestors and bond and build and learn where you come from, then the Orisha won't have any dealings with you because you ain't
Mm.
respecting your folks. So why would we think you're gonna handle us correctly? On top
Mm.
of it, when it comes down to the Orisha, you see how they lived very much similar to how we live. Like even the decisions that we make, even the circumstances that we've been through, and some of the circumstances they've been through, shit, it's straight off some Jerry Springer drama. You never would think like y'all gods would be doing that kind of shit.
Yeah, because I've heard one of the stories, and it's like, whoa, for real, dude?
Yeah, correct. So it's just like when you see how similar they are to you and how certain attributes of them you possess, and they give you like a master key to be able to show you how to overcome those things, overcome those struggles, overcome those burdens. Oh yeah, it's a different kind of whew, it's a different kind of gratification.
I love it. How do
Yeah.
you now? Speaking of Orisha, right? How do you know, in your experience? I'm asking, like, from your experience.
Okay.
How do you know that when you're working with said deities, spirits? How do you know that that's not all in your head manifesting versus something else is at work?
Okay. So for beginners, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a little bit more difficult for the beginners. That's why the people around you, the Babalaos, the Orishas, they are so important
Mm-hmm.
because they kind of give you little tidbits and little identifiers to know, like, hey, certain shit, certain things is at play right now. You may want to pay attention to this, pay attention to that. Any file, you have a lot of, again, elays, houses. Once you become a part of a house, and even some houses don't allow, they can allow you to participate as an apparition and you not be a godchild. I was a part of one of those houses where I participated with the elay, but I wasn't a godchild to the Babalawo. So now I'm a godchild,
Mm-hmm.
but they have different things that teach you different, gives you warnings and taboos and advisories of things that are to come and things that are about to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just start from the beginning. Once you get your reading from the Babalawo is going to tell you, hey, your head Orisha, that means the one that is in control of this reading. This is the one that speaks during this whole reading. Like this is the one that's working with you the most. A lot of people confuse that for your crown, for your actual head, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not the case. So you'll have a reading from the Babalawo. We call them Dafas or Delioguns or Mandian Ogun, whatever you want to call it. Even some of them do Opeles for clients. But this reading is going to kind of give you 9 different variations of what's going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It'll start off from the basic message that head Orisha has to say to you. That can just be a warning. That can be a message of support. That can be just anything. That message is tied to an Odu. A Odu is the answer to whatever they're saying. Okay, cool. So we'll just say, for an example, Eshu. Eshu is known as Papa Legba.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming through and he's like, yes, the road to prosperity is open to you, but you have adversaries that you have to overcome during this process. That's the warning. That's an advisory, letting you know, like, hey, this is about to happen. Pay attention to this. Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the most profound message in the whole reading that you got. Okay, so now we go off live day to day life, and now we start seeing that all these different obstacles that are coming towards you to slow you down from doing what you need to do. All these things, and you'll see that it's led, or not led, but it's kind of it's like a little police officer letting you know, like, hey, 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 it's happening, it's happening. SU has a very different way of alerting you to warn you. It can be within people, it can be within symbolisms, colors, it can be within certain words, it can be within a time, it can be within any of those things. but you have to refer back to the warning that was given to you. And that's kind of how you know when certain things are at play, because nothing is not just going to pop up without it coming out as a warning. And that's what I love about the Orisha. They are great at giving you heads up, like heads up, this coming your way. Pay attention. Don't miss out on it.
So, if I understand correctly, whether you practice Ifa or not, if you go to a Bible out for a reading, an Orisha is going to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Orishas will speak. It won't just be one. It may be one. But that is very, I ain't gonna say very rare, but it's just unlikely for just one to speak. Me personally, when I first got my first Afa, I had four speak. I had Oshun, I had Shango, I had Orunmila, I had a few of them speak. And the way that they spoke was they were working in different areas of my life. Like Shango was working with me in love. Oshun was working with me when it came down to self-reflection. Obatala was working with me when it came down to structure and understanding. Orumula came in a part of when it came down to moving through my path, destiny. Hell, even my Egungun came up. They were like, hey, we need this and we need that because this is going on. So one Orisha just will never speak. It'll be a few, including your ancestors, your Egungun.
Right.
Yeah.
So are the
So yeah,
Orisha
a lot of things come in messages.
Are the Orisha working with people whether they practice Ifa or not?
Let's say this. We believe, regardless of what the path of the person believes, that Orishas always going to walk with you. It's more about putting an identifier to that energy. So my mama is not an Ifa practitioner. She is very much a Christian. She had her first reading a while back at Contra Fest. And in that reading, Oya came up, Ogun came up, Yimaya came up. She had a lot of transformations and changes, and those Orisha was working with her. Oya was making it to where the Egungun could support her, could help, regardless if she was open and acceptable for that to happen. That's what she did. That's what Oya was doing, making sure that Egungun came to help her. She just turned 60, so she was going through her Saturn return. Every 30 years, you go through a Saturn return, and that Saturn return is kind of like a midlife crisis. You go through it at 30, and you'll go through it again at 60. And she was going through her transformational stage. And Yimaya was coming to her to get her to forgive herself for a lot of things that she held on personally too that affected how she lived her life. So the result of that reading was after the fact. That's when all the spooky shit was happening to her. She was like, oh, so I had a dream about my granddaddy. Oh, and he told me this and he told me that. So Oya did make sure that the Egungun had a way to come to her.
Wow.
She did that. That was the reason why she saw her granddaddy, because of Oya bringing forth the Egungun to assist her.
Wow.
Right. So you have to know how to, in some sense, be able to identify. When I first started E5, and I ain't even gonna say it started, I was curious about E5 at this point, like because I was a hoodoo practitioner. I was cool. I was like, I know it's something else I should be doing, but it'll come to. And I had a dream about somebody that I called Orunmila. And I did not know who Orunmila was, but I knew in this dream I was walking to this horizon, the sun was setting, and I ended up walking up to this man, and he was sitting on the ground on the table. Like we have this brown board that the Bible Hours read off of. And I walked up to him and he was on the ground reading.
Hmm.
I didn't know he was reading at that time because I knew nothing about it. But I knew what I remembered from that dream.
Yeah.
And every until I found the Bible Hour, until the Bible Hour presented himself to me, I kept having that dream. And in that dream, it was more and more about what I was supposed to do.
Wow.
And I did not know at that time that I was supposed to be in line to be a reader. Did not know that until recently.
Hmm.
Right. But that's what got me started on my E5 path was that dream I had about Orumula. That's his name, but I kept calling him Orunmila. I was like, I don't know who this is, but all I remember is Orunmila. And who is Orunmila?
Oh snap!
And it's Orumula.
That's fire though. That's fire. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what got me. But at the same time, I had to receive the message. And along with that message came hella research. I had to Google Oran Million because I didn't know who he was, what path he came from. I didn't know,
Yeah.
but I knew the name.
Hmm.
All right.
And so you going through that process, is that like when did all the hate start?
Oof. Immediately after I became Aboriginal.
Why? Because now you're a quote
Immediately when
somebody?
I received Eshu and Awatala, it started. Yeah.
Because you're quote somebody now with the title?
No, it was a number one, it started with race. I wasn't
Mm,
dark enough to be practicing E5, E5, any African traditions, even though my daddy is black as hell and a whole Haitian, like super dark. But me being a mixed person, I wasn't dark enough to be practicing. And who is training me? And who made me Aparisha? And what do I know about E5? Right. So then that was the first shade I got. The second shade was when dude kept trying to clock me because he felt like my lineage, I didn't have lineage. So why am I practicing E5 if I don't know what I'm practicing? But at this point, I was just still learning. I was still learning what Ifa was. I was learning the basics. I did not possess shrines at that time. I didn't do any physical devotion. I was learning how to do those things. And that's what Abarisha is. You learn a process
mm,
until it's time for you to elevate.
mm.
So it started immediately and it came out with all the people who again was much more titled up than I was.
How did these
So
conversations
which
come
is
about? I'm
crazy.
curious.
So you're in the group and you comment like they have like these different, African groups, hoodoo groups, whatever you want to call it on Facebook. And when I first started, these groups were like major things. Like it was important that you be a part of a ATR group of some nature. So I'm a part of the group and somebody posted something and I said, Mary Mafa, Mary, ugh, I can't say it now. I cannot pronounce it. I don't know why. Mafa Efefun, which means, I pay homage to this, or thank you that, the Orisha. That is Lukumi. And Isheshe, we say Modupeo. That is, I am thankful. So somebody posted something about an Orisha, and I'm coming in here like, Shay, Mafe Fefun, or Oshun, yada yada yada. So the person who posted the picture or whatever they were posting, they came in and they were like, yeah, that's not how you greet her. That's not how you do this. And who taught you that? And I'm like, yeah, you can greet her like that. You don't have to say Ori Yayo every time you see a picture of Oshun. You can greet her in several different ways. You can say Mojuba Oshun. You can say Modupe Oshun. Like it's so many different ways to greet. But this person was so caught up in the fact of they were an Isheshe practitioner that they wanted to clock me for using a Lukumi term.
Mm.
Right.
I don't get it.
Correct. So it's like if it's still respectful, then what the hell is the problem?
Right.
Well, this is an Isheshe group. Well, I'm still Apparition. I'm still learning all the terms. Plus, I'm learning how to speak Yoruba. Like Yoruba is not easy. It's very confusing at times. So it's just like, look, a lot of people try to come in and clock you off of the littlest things.
Would you agree that was probably a sign that you knew you was gonna be dope?
I did not. I did not because at first when I started Ifa and specifically Isheshe, I came up against so much. Like I came up against so much, man. All the people like and it was like several people on these in these groups that started the same time I started Ifa, and now it's like a year later and y'all screaming y'all babalaos and AWOs and I'm like, how in the hell you an AWO and we started this shit together? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I got caught up in looking at where they were, and I was like, I gotta work harder. I gotta work harder. I gotta work.
Wow.
So it put a lot of pressure on me to be something that I wasn't quite sure if that's what I was supposed to be. And me, I'm a geek. I'm a learning person. So I'm always like absorbing something.
Right.
But Ifa is so much information that I started to discover that I was learning the wrong information. Like
Mm.
I'm not learning the information of my lineage and of my past, all because I'm tired of people trying to come at me. So it's like, let's learn a lot of different stuff since people feel like they're going to keep coming for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So once I kind of got that down pat where I'm like, this is what I'm learning, this is what I do. If you come for me, I got a lineage. This is what it is. If you don't like it, oh the fuck well. Like it
Right.
was just a lot. And where I am now, it's not that it is annoying or disappointing. It's just the nerve of people. The nerve that they feel like that they can put their lineage against your lineage and make it sound like your lineage is not enough or your lineage is just not pure enough
Mm-hmm.
or historically accurate enough.
Right.
So that's my thing when it comes down to the higher ups, when it comes down to Ifa, the people who have been practicing for more than 10 years, they have this ego thing where they feel like their tradition or their lineage is the most high lineage.
Mm.
And it's like, if that's how you feel, then Ifa's not teaching you much.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Right. And see, that's the kind of stuff I look at when I'm talking to people about stuff. You know what I mean? I listen to a conversation like that, where they talk about, oh, all these people don't know this or it's supposed to be this way. But as always, like I said, you always break stuff down and make it make sense. I love it.
Right. And the thing is, Ifa has so many lineages. Like Ifa is throughout the world. So no, not one lineage is going to practice in the same manner as the next lineage.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the problem. It's supposed to be, well, you're supposed to. And it's like, you know. So it's just when you have those kind of practitioners, it's disappointing because
Mm-hmm.
especially recently, as I got crowned, yeah, I had somebody I really respected came, like really like made me feel some kind of way about it.
Mm.
Like to the point where I'm like calling my Bible out, like, what the hell is she talking about? And what happened? And yada yada yada. He was like, you ain't tell her your lineage. She didn't ask. She just assumed. Like, and when I broke it down to him and like in my mind broke it down the way that I broke it down to him, I'm like, yeah, she really just assumed something.
Mm.
She really just took what she saw and made it something completely different, all because I have attended this person's events.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's like, yeah, just because I have attended your events does not mean that your lineage is similar or the same as mine. So yeah, that caused some problems. She came for me and made me feel some type of way. Disrespectful at all, but it was the simple fact that she didn't look at that herself before she started with the questions.
So let that be a lesson for newbies, right? Don't waste your
Right.
time judging people.
Correct. Especially when you don't really know too much about this person. And also it's all about too, don't put so much energy into the people that you really don't know. Like so when I say too much energy, don't put too much admiration into
Mm-hmm.
people who really didn't give you anything to really admire.
Right. True.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So, and that was my problem. I put a lot of admiration into this lady. I thought she was the bee's knees, but ultimately, when I looked at a lot of different things throughout the years that I saw, and also that actually happened, it was like, damn, I kind of set myself up for the booby trap because it's been many of people who left that person in droves all because of mannerisms and actions of that person.
Mm.
But I looked at it, well, that person didn't do that to me, so I ain't gotta really. But now that it has happened to me, it's like, goddamn, I kind of set myself up for that.
You had to see proof though. And I don't even knock you, right?
Right.
For real. Because I can understand how that would happen. It's like, yo, everybody can say whatever they want to say. I have to experience it for myself. Because I don't know what happened between y'all. I feel you. So you just go ahead. So you knew what the outcome would be.
All right.
But you had to you had to confirm because again, assuming ain't gonna get you nowhere.
Correct. And I mean, it was just a big lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It
A
showed
great one, I'm
me
sure.
like how the higher ups are just as petty as the newbies. Like just as petty, just as judgmental, just as and didn't ask any questions. Like not no real questions. You asked a basic question was, is this your initiation? And it's like this is a piece of my initiation. Like this ain't even the actual initiation process. This just me outside being presented to whoever was outside to support me.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? And it was like that
Mm-hmm.
person took one piece and chopped my ass up,
Mm.
but did not ask any real questions. Like, what's your lineage? Who is your babalao? Da 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 da. Yada yada yada. What's the process that happened? Yada yada yada. And in E5, it is a structure. So you're not necessarily supposed to address the godchild. You're supposed to address the godparent.
Dang.
Now, this person knows who my godparent is. So there's no damn mystery. If you knew, like we've been to events, me and the godparent to this person's events.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you felt like, even though I reached out to her and that because the way the stuff went down, you was being real petty, like all on my comment areas, like petty. And as an elder, that's not how you handle things. And that is, yeah. So she didn't take proper protocol. you came to the God child and not the God parent.
Wow.
So I hate it because I mean I still have lots of admiration for her. It just showed me that
She human too.
this ain't somebody I really need to be following and paying attention to and supporting, because you don't support me. Like you're not respectful of the lineage that I come from. So why am I pouring all my respect into you and the lineage that you come from?
That's a good.
It's just a pissing contest, man.
No, but that's a good
It's a
question
pissing
though.
contest.
That's a, yeah, but you know what? Real talk to me, that you know me, that's a good question. Why would you be
Right.
doing that? No, but not in a typical sense. It's like only because the little that I know about you and that I observe about you, for whatever reason, like you see the best in people.
How's on?
So, it just made me wonder, like, did you see it the whole time anyway? But because of the nature, your nature, that makes you still want to see the best for people. It just made me wonder if that's why you would continue to pour and not change your position. Not that I'm trying to change it right now. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking out
No,
loud.
it's just more of at the end of the day, that person is still an elder.
Right. So
You
you
get
still
what I'm saying?
respecting your
So
elder.
it's some type of respect, regardless if I don't necessarily agree with your positioning on how you handled me and the respect you have for the lineage that I practice. That does not negate that you are an elder of this tradition.
Right.
And just because we don't agree, I mean, that's not going to take the fact that I don't respect you as an elder. I do respect this person still as an elder. It's just as far as how I continue to support you
Yeah.
will drastically change, because you showed me that whatever lineage I'm a part of versus the lineage that you are a part of, you have no respect for it. You feel like it's just like the Christian stance. God is the one true God. Well, your lineage is the one true lineage. When there are thousands of lineages out there under this tradition.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got you. I got you. Damn.
So it's wild, man.
Yeah,
And
that is some wild stuff. I'll be honest. I ain't interested in dealing with that madness right now. I'm not talking about EFA. I'm talking about that type of madness. I'm serious because
right.
I'm just being real. Like that remind me of church. That's exactly what it remind me of. I can't stand dealing with that kind of foolishness, y'all.
All
Real.
right. You can't have an opinion over the deacon.
Yeah.
You can't disagree with the pastor.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, I used to get in trouble for asking questions, and I was that dude that was more like, you know, you gonna answer this question or not, and I'd ask some questions that'll take stuff left field, you know what I'm saying? But it's not left field as in the sense of being a distraction. It was like that's a very freaking valid question.
Yeah, he's like, I need some answers.
Yeah, I need some real answers, homie, because this stuff right here ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing on this scripture right here, but.
I mean, but the same thing applies to hoodoo. Like, it's not just Ifa, it's also hoodoo. Hoodoo has this thing where, and it's very common, people who hoodoo with the Bible, they go against people who don't hoodoo with the Bible. So it's like, okay, your hoodoo ain't hoodoo because you ain't using the Bible. When certain people just choose not to use an indoctrination practice that made the Bible part of hoodoo. So instead of using Bible verses, we'll create our own personal chants, our own personal incantations, our own personal um, petition styles, and stuff of that nature. But you have the old school hoodoos who hoodoo with the Bible that go against that. They feel like you are not following the practice if you're not applying that said method.
So if you're not applying scriptures to your chants or whatever, then it's powerless, is what they're saying.
They're basically saying that you're not doing hoodoo. Right. It follows the same method. And that's what I said. It doesn't just stop with E5. It goes all across the board of different traditions
Now, now you see why
and
the hermit.
practices.
Look, now you see why the hermit card come up on so many of my readings.
Mm,
I don't like
mm.
that. I don't like dealing with all that
Hermit
mess,
in
man.
reverse. Let's keep it clear. The hermit in reverse come up. Let's talk about can't find your way on that path. We're a little nervous. Well,
Hey, for
why I
real.
got to start here?
I'm just saying, man, because that stuff just gets on my nerves. You know what I'm saying? It seems like no matter what it is in any belief system, there's always just division upon division upon division. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking at the fact that, yo, we are a group of people who have actually tapped into our inner power, and we can actually do so much more for our personal lives and for the lives of people that come in contact with us. But instead, I'm supposed to come attack you because you throw your cards out this way or you shuffle your cards that way, and I do tarot as well. Like, come on, man, for
It's
real.
all across the board. I'm telling you, it's all across the board. It's not just with the ATRs, it's all across the board. You'll have other pagans go against other pagans because they choose not to do the Gardenian method. They choose to go over here and create their own tradition and how they do magic. And yeah, it's frowned upon. If you're not charging your rocks under the full moon, then they're not charged. All that, it all goes in the same system of ego and power driven. And that's why I encourage people to please look at the people that you choose to study under and study with.
Exactly. And please catch on to the fact that these people are imposing limiting beliefs upon you. Because that's what
Correct.
they're doing. Well, if you, like you just said, like if you didn't charge your stone under the full moon, then it's not. There are multiple ways to charge a stone.
Hello.
I can charge my stone. Come on, man. Like, I don't get it. And that's how you get these neophytes who come in and, like I remember at one point I was seeing, okay, I think I had looked up something about tarot. And man, I was seeing all these videos about I don't practice tarot no more. I don't deal with crystals no more. It's all a lot of this, that, and the other. And I think these people went in with these expectations, like you said, almost like number one, over elevating people that they,
All
come
right.
in contact with, whether it be on social media or in person. And then going in with like this expectation of like instant gratification and power, not realizing you got to do the work for it. And then they end up getting mad, and then they get overly confused because this person is over here saying, no, you're doing it wrong. This person is saying you're doing it wrong. This person is saying you're supposed to do it that way. You know what I mean? Like,
And
it's
then sometimes that just simply ain't your tool. Like, and that's another thing too. It's like you put so much energy in something that is not who you are. And it's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
And I think people get caught up in trying to find their stitch instead of allowing that stitch to come to you, allowing that to happen for you. Again, I had to go through some stuff where I discovered that I'm a lot of things that I am. I'm great. I'm a diviner, I'm an intuitive, reading people, reading is my thing.
right,
Like I can throw out some cards, I am a diviner. I can read anything. Like I can use anything to practically read it.
right,
But when it comes down to energy work, when it comes down to stuff of that nature, that's not my thing. Even
right,
though, yes, I have to be able to wield energy in order to read and in order to be intuitive. But I'm not going to go out here and try Reiki when I know energy ain't my thing.
right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of people don't allow themselves to try things and see if it's for them or not. They just assume that they should be those things.
Yep. No, I
And
agree.
that is, man, that's a setup for disaster.
It is. It is. And you know,
Yeah.
you have to take your time and like you said, explore them tools, see what them tools do. But I don't know. I know in my journey, like crystals came before the tuning fork, the tuning forks and
Hmm.
stuff for me. So I don't. I still cannot recall the actual time when I said, "Ooh, I want a colorful rock," because that's what they look like. If you're not into them, that you
Sign
know,
me up for a pocket rock.
you know, I'm serious. If you're not one of the people who's into it, you're just like, "Oh man, people in there buying colored rocks." You know what I'm saying?
He said, I'll take a blue one. Like,
Exactly. So I can't say that I necessarily went in one direction or another. It just, you're right. It's like you just get drawn in. You know what I'm saying? And it's just happening throughout your regular life. It's like it's being introduced more and more and more and more. You're not even having to look for it. You know what I mean?
it's right there in your face. Like,
It's yeah, yeah, yeah. And when you get to certain things, you know either it works for you or it doesn't. Like I'll tell you, I have so much appreciation for my pendulum. Beyond the yes and the no's, like just I like to feel the energy flow. I think that's dope. So, um, yeah, man, it's some cool stuff. It's some cool stuff. I'm sorry, the phone rang, so it threw me off. But yeah, I can't say how I got there. Like I don't even remember how I learned about tuning forks. Before I even went to get trained in Reiki, I already had stones and tuning forks and a
right,
singing bowl, a legit singing bowl. You know what I'm saying? Having
right.
no clue what those things were going to be used for. Ain't that
He
crazy?
said, all I know is I saw somebody hit this thing with a stick and it did something to me. He said,
Yeah,
that's all I know.
yeah. I got introduced. You know what? I went to a family member's house, and they actually had a small singing bowl in the bathroom, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh shoot, yep, that's how that happened." I was
All
like,
right.
"What is?" I said, "What is that?" And she was like, "I don't." It was one of my aunties, and she was like, "I don't know. I saw Taraji P Henson had one, so I just got it right." Tripping, right? So I
Okay,
said,
auntie.
I'm like, man, I think it's something more to it. So she was like, yeah, you supposed to be able to do this. And she was like, I couldn't get it to work. And I was like, let me try. And that joker started singing. She was like, oh, you can do it? I was like, do what? She was like, that's what it's supposed to do. I didn't know about singing bowls at the time, though. I wasn't on that page. And so I said, well, shoot, can I have it? She was like, no, I'm going to order you one. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, cool. Got the little joint, started messing with it, went into another shop. And the one that I had that I've shown you before, I love that thing. That thing cost me $80.
He said,
Beautiful though.
come home with me, baby.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, you
You are
worth it.
mine now.
Yeah, you are so worth it right now. You know, but I didn't, again, these things I didn't have to chase. It was just in daily life. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Everything was apparent. So I was just piggybacking on what you were saying. Like, man, this stuff will come to you. You just got to pay attention.
All right.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
Yeah, you got to pay attention. And also, I mean, you got to be realistic with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your gifts start early. Like, they don't start when you get to damn spirituality. Like, they start very much before then. So when it comes down to who you are as an individual, look at your life. Look at the things that you are capable of beforehand, before you reach your spiritual path. In
Mm-hmm.
some sense, it'll let you know what it is that you should be dabbling in. Like
Mm-hmm.
straight up. Like, I mean, for me, it would be like that. Like I my ex-husband, we'll use him for an example, because for some reason my gifts always were pink with his ass. So he would always be in trouble. And anytime he would get in trouble, like go to jail kind of get in trouble, I could feel it. I would know. Like I gotta go pull up. Let me go. I know exactly where he at. Let me go. And sure as my intuition was, where you at? Getting locked up on your way to jail.
Mm.
I would see things in people and and just say it. And they'll be like, that shit just happened to me the other day. Yeah. But I never defined myself as, a special person. I just would say, I was a very coincident type person. Like, oh, damn, that was just coincident. Stuff of that nature. I would say things to people and legit talk it up. And didn't realize half the shit I was saying was bad. Like, it was not good.
Mm.
So when I start becoming more spiritually conscious, I'm like, damn, did I manifest that on people? All these terrible things that was happening, did I manifest that? Because I would say it and then boom. If it was not later on that day or the next day, it happened.
That fast?
Yes, like I'm telling you, it would be bad.
Dang.
Yeah, like it would just be bad. Like and boom, it'll happen. So yeah, it's just when you pay attention to yourself in that manner,
Mm-hmm.
it'll kind of give you tools of like give you little hints of what you should be dabbling in when you do develop a spiritual practice. It would show you the tools that should be available or could be available to you based off of a lot of things that you have done in your life previously to spirituality.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this.
So
Would you say that if you're while you're on your journey and you do go run into those types of attacks you were talking about earlier, do you take that as a sign that you are still on the right path?
what you mean? What the sex? Are you talking about the haters,
Yeah, the haters.
the ego driven ones?
Yes.
And what was the question again?
Do you personally take that as a sign that you are in fact on the right path?
I feel like adversity is warned to people. So when you have to constantly overcome something or address something or face something, I don't feel like that's something that is just unknown to you. And I feel like when it comes down to my path personally, my personal path, I'm never going to just be able to fly under the radar. I'm never going to be the one where I things just fall into my lap. I always have to, in some sense, uh, not fight for that. I don't want to say fight because I don't, but I would have to always work for everything. Even when it comes down to my gifts, even when it comes down to the blessings that I get. And I think that is my Ori's life lesson is
Mm-hmm.
letting you know that nothing's given to you. Everything that you have, in some sense, you have worked for it. Every blessing, every failure, every discouraging moment, every positive moment, you have worked for those things. So I feel like adversity and confrontation and those type of things are not, I'm going to say designed for me, but my life's lesson and learning how to manage those things without being perceived as attacked or perceived as fraudulent or perceived as someone who has to defend it. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like that's just my Ori's one of my Ori's lessons in this lifetime is that.
I think that's what a lot of us actually. Adversity is absolutely important. Conflict, all of that. It's absolutely important in this spiritual journey. Period. Because you never know what you're made of until you have to go up against something.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like a lot of people struggle because they choose not to go against it. They choose to accept. And
Mm-hmm.
me, I am a fighter. I'm never going to accept a standard or accept a way or accept someone's idea of me.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no. Like, no, no. That's just not who I'm built up. That's just not the way I'm built.
Feel you.
So, yeah, child, it's a lot. But
Yeah.
long as you understand who you are, what you are becoming, and basically understanding what you kind of lack. Because me, I have a temperament issue. I am quick to try to hit your ass in the face with some facts. I am quick to pop off and or get fueled up against the wrong things. Those is the things that those are the lessons I'm learning about myself
Mm-hmm.
is my triggers. What
Mm-hmm.
triggers me? Why do I feel the need to move in that manner when it does? So again, it's all about your lessons. It's all about long as you can see the problem, you able to address the problem.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't allow others to put you in positions where you feel like you can't accept things about yourself all because of their ignorance.
I
So
feel you.
yeah, child, because
Don't let
it's
nobody.
wild out here in
No, I
these
feel you.
spiritual streets.
Yeah. Don't let nobody try to tell you more about you because they don't know you and you still don't know you. So don't believe whatever they say about you.
Yeah, and then you have a lot of people who just feel like they know a lot. Like I went to New Orleans one time, went into this particular shop, and the owner basically was like, "Well, when are you getting initiated?" I'm like, "Well," and this is earlier this year, so I'm like, "Hopefully soon." Like, I'm not in a rush, but hopefully soon. Well, why are you not washing your elecades in blood? Because actually, I practice Isheshe, and we don't do that.
Mm.
But again, you apparently don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, I got my hand to E5 and I got Orula and yeah, you supposed to be washing your elecades in blood. Said the person who not even wearing their elecades. These are
Mm.
elecades. These
Mm.
are my personal altars, my personal Orisha altars. In Isheshe, you receive these two first, Eshu and Obatala.
Mm-hmm.
And in Lukumi, you get all seven of them, and they're called warriors. So in different traditions, you'll walk around. Some people you'll see have all of their necklaces, and then some of us you may see have two or
Mm-hmm.
three. So a lot of people try to like coin what they think they know about whatever you practice. All based off of what you're wearing, all based off of the perception that they see that you have or whatever. So it's just like, look, that's something you're gonna be dealing with in this path. That's just how it comes. But at the same time, as you develop through this path, Ifa or hoodoo or whatever your path is, your knowledge, your experience, how you move through that experience is what's going to help you be able to deter the bullshit.
I agree.
So, yeah, there's no way about getting around it. You can only go through it.
Right.
But don't let you going through it hinder or change why you chose this path.
Yeah.
Because I had somebody tell me the other day, Ephah chose me. Girl, child bye. You chose Ephah. Okay?
Choice is
Like,
always
it
ours.
just don't choose people. You chose it.
Right.
Yes, it may found its way to you, but you can't, Ephah ain't practicing on you. You practice Ephah. So how the hell are you chosen? So
Mm.
again, please don't let the ideas of what you are learning or the ideas of others what they think that you should be learning. be oppressed upon you to make you walk away from the path that apparently is led to you. Because it didn't choose you, you're gonna choose it.
Yeah,
It's just gonna present itself to you. And see if you're smart enough to choose it.
I agree. No, I
That's
agree.
how that one goes.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Man,
Hmm.
gotta protect yourself. I agree.
Yeah. So that's how that goes. And what they say on the next episode, we're gonna get a little bit more into details, about tools and how you acquire said tools in these paths, in these traditions, and all the fun things, you
I
know?
can't wait. I can't wait because I'm bringing my toys up.
Yeah, I know you've been waiting for this episode.
I know. You know I am. Look. I don't. Look. My mind started going for real. Like, ooh, what I'm gonna bring up? Oh man.
Yeah, you've been waiting for this. And what they say, Darwin is going to show his tools, and I am going to come in with a little tools to show you how to do a little things with those set tools in a more hoodoo fashion.
You gonna never show us how to do it working?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys the basics. And it really on the next episode is more going to be about showing you how to take those tools that you got to do workings.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, y'all will have some little cheat sheet, little stuff like that on here. Hmm.
Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna ask this question. I was thinking about this over the weekend. I was like, ooh, and I started getting nervous even just thinking about it. But one day, just so
Hmm.
people can actually see how you do it. I think I want to let you do a read on me and on one of the episodes. Like
Okay.
I'm talking about like I'm gonna ask real questions, all kinds of stuff. Like I'm gonna I'm gonna let it. I'm telling you, man, I'm so nervous because I was like, man, I really, I don't know what's gonna come out. Because you know what I'm saying? I've
And then
had a couple reads.
also we'll do like a little snippy snip for the listeners for their house signs. So fire sign, water sign, earth sign, air sign. And we'll do
Yeah.
like a little 5-minute read and letting you guys know like what y'all should be watching out for. Especially coming up because we're going through a Mercury retrograde. So a lot
Hmm.
of that stuff's coming. And when we talk about divination on the next episode, along with tools and stuff like that, yeah, we'll give y'all a little snippet on like what's going on in the sky and how astrology is just as important as, if not the most important, out of all of the spiritual tools and systems.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, you guys. It's gonna be fun. So yes.
Nice.
So that's
So
what we have for you.
I'm getting really excited now. Oh my goodness. Because I love when you
Hmm.
talk astrology and stuff. You know your stuff when it comes to astrology. I'm not even
It's
finna
my
sit up here.
Jimmy Jam.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta
Well,
know what's
look,
going on in the sky.
I always got to ask a question before the episode happens. So I want the answer right now. I'm
Oh my
curious.
God. Here you go with this red nine stuff.
What in the world is this that you hear people say? For more information or whatever, look at your sun, moon, and rising.
Hmm.
What does that mean?
So your sun sign is the sign that you are born in. So what makes you a Libra is
Mm,
you were born in the end of September through the middle of October.
right.
That is where the sun was when you were born, was in that sign. Your ascendant sign is basically the sign of the appearance of the outside appearance, how others perceive you, how you're moving through life. So I have a Capricorn ascendant. That's my Capricorn. Your ascendant sign also can be your rising sign.
Okay.
Right. And your moon sign is how you think. It's your emotions, it's how you feel. The moon
Mm,
sign is again where the moon was when you were born. Moon is polar opposite, not necessarily polar opposites, but it has opposite tendencies from the sun. So the moon can be in a completely different planet when you are born.
Yeah.
Right.
I have to
So
go
I have
deeper
a
on that one
Gemini
though.
moon. So my emotions can go back and forth. How I think can go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think about that when it comes down to how you deal with people on a day-to-day basis. You may want to look at their moon sign,
Dang.
or you may want to look at their Mercury. Mercury is the planet of day-to-day life. It's the planet of communication. It's the planet of travel. So if you want to know how somebody communicates, look at their Mercury. If you want to know, um, how they move through day-to-day life, look at their Mercury. You want to know if this person is a punctual person or someone who is just lazy as shit, look at their Mercury. If you want to see how people learn life lessons, look at their Saturn. And also look at the house that their Saturn sits in. Yeah, it's a lot. And that's why I said we're not going to keep going into it. So I answered your question,
Yeah, I
and that's
wasn't finna
it.
ask. Look,
Oh,
I
I
wasn't.
see it on your face, bro. You ain't finna try to run one on me.
No, I ain't finna do it because I'm like, ooh, that's got to be an episode or
Yeah,
two.
it's a lot.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
ooh. Yeah.
So, anywho, we're going to wrap this up, you guys. Thank you for coming to True Conjure Podcast. And I hope you guys enjoyed episode 3. And we'll see you guys next time. Say bye to him, Darwin.
Peace.
Bye.